Secretary Deb Haaland is trying to shine a light on a dark place in the country's past, releasing a first-ever report that aims to capture the scope of the trauma inflicted on Indigenous communities in the U.S. as generations of children were forced to attend federally run boarding schools.
The languages, cultures, religions, traditional practices, and even the history of Native communities, all of it was targeted for destruction.
The initial report identifies 408 federally run boarding schools with 53 different burial sites uncovered so far. The full picture is far from clear. This analysis only documents just over 500 deaths, with a warning: the department expects the number of recorded deaths to increase.
Our children deserve to be found. Our children deserve to be brought home.
The U.S. investigation started after what is believed to be hundreds of unmarked graves were discovered at a Canadian residential school in Kamloops, BC, a discovery that moved the first ever Native American cabinet secretary to tears and then action.
I stand on the shoulders of my grandmother and my mother, and the work we will do with the Federal Indian Boarding School Initiative will have a transformational impact on the generations who follow.
Beth Wright is from the same community as Secretary Haaland and is now an attorney for the Native American Rights Fund. She says this is an important step, as it tells a story that is not widely known outside of Indigenous communities in the U.S.
I think it makes me emotional because I was always taught growing up what my responsibility was to my community, and I always knew of the trauma that existed in my own community, but we were always also taught to focus on the strength of our community.
To continue with this work, the department is launching a national tour to meet in person with survivors and collect their stories if they wish to share. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.